far too many entrepreneurs are putting off being excited about their lives, having the life that they actually want, and doing what they want to do every day so that someday they can have some big outcome that allows them to live their perfect day. I prefer to build my life right now the way I want it, and I think you should too. I'm Alex Sharfin, and this is the Momentum Podcast, made for empire builders, game changers, trailblazers, shot takers, record breakers, world makers, and creators of all kinds. Those among us who can't turn it off and don't know why anyone would want to. We challenge complacency, destroy apathy, and we are obsessed with creating momentum so we can roll over bureaucracy and make our greatest contribution. Sure, we pay attention to their rules, but only so that we can bend them, break them, then rewrite them around our own will. We don't accept our destiny, we define it. We don't understand defeat because you only lose if you stop, and we don't know how. While the rest of the world strives for average and clings desperately to the status quo, we are the minority, the few, who are willing to hallucinate there could be a better future, and instead of just daydreaming of what could be, we endure the vulnerability and exposure it takes to make it real. We are the evolutionary hunters, clearly the most important people in the world, because entrepreneurs are the only source of consistent, positive human evolution, and we always will be. There's a weird attitude in the entrepreneurial world today that you have to hustle and grind and kill yourself and work yourself into oblivion in order to someday be successful so that you can buy your perfect day. So it's a system like you kill yourself, there's some event in the future that makes it so you don't have to kill yourself anymore, and then you get to build the life you really want. And I'm not talking just about startup entrepreneurs. I'm talking about experienced entrepreneurs who have been in business for a while. Heck, some of them are even coaches that coach people how to grow business and scale business. And they have lives where they're doing everything that they have to do now and killing themselves, but not really enjoying what they do and being excited about what they're doing and building a team around themselves so that they actually get to have fun and work in their zone of genius and enjoy themselves. See, I prefer to take a different route. I've already determined what I want my days to be like. I have a very clear idea of what I want out of my life. I want to be able to spend time with my kids, connect with my wife, do the things that I really love doing, work in my zone of genius, be involved in my business in the ways that make me excited. So for me, the equation isn't kill yourself, have some big event, and then go create the life you want. For me, it's create the life I want today, intentionally build a business around who I am so that I can live the perfect day of my life every day. I can get up and be excited about what I do, who I work with, what I'm getting, what I'm allowed to encounter that day or what I do encounter that day, and not wait for some event that makes it all better or that maybe never comes. I think there's far too many entrepreneurs today that are trading today for tomorrow, and what if it doesn't happen? And it doesn't have to be that way. When you get clear on what you want, when you understand where your strengths are and what you should be doing most of the time, and you build a team around those strengths and around what you want to do, you create momentum that continues to go forward over and over again. And you create the type of business where you're excited to work every day and you look forward to going to work every day. And when you do that, it makes it easier and easier to be successful. And when you're intentional about your life, you'll be intentional about helping the people around you with their lives. So you'll build a team where everyone works in their strengths, in their zone of genius. Today, the Momentum Podcast hit 1 million downloads in just over 13 months. Or just over 14 months, sorry. And maybe it's 13. I'm terrible with calendars. You already know that if you listen to my podcast. So it's 13 or 14 months, give or take a month, million downloads. We're at about 1,005,000 downloads right now. And there is no way that we would have hit that number with me just by myself. In fact, there's no way this podcast would have gotten set up if it was just me by myself. I have an entire team that helps me with everything around this podcast. I record it, and that's all I do. I record it, I upload it, and I walk away. And everything else happens for me. Why? Because this is my zone of genius. This is what I love doing. I love sharing with you, encouraging you, helping you, creating momentum with you. And it's exciting for me. But editing the podcast, uploading it, putting it on iTunes, figuring out how all that stuff works, honestly, it's just not something that I'm excited about. It's not something I'm even interested in. It's not even something I want the password to. I want somebody on my team to take care of all of that for me, and I want backup. So if they're not available, somebody else is taking care of it so that I get to do what I want to do every single day. And if that sounds selfish, well, then I want you to understand something. As an entrepreneur, part of you creating the life you want, the success you want, and the day that you want is you being radically selfish and saying, this is what I want to do, and this is who I want to be, and this is the day that I want to have, and this is how I want to live my life, instead of trading everything for someday. And if you're working with a coach or consultant or anyone who's telling you need to hustle and push yourself and do all this other stuff so that someday you might have some payoff, I want you to ask them a simple question. What if someday never comes? You know, if you're working with a coach who's telling you to do all those things, chances are they do all those things. If your coach is confused and overworked and frustrated and tired and full of cortisols, you're going to be confused and overworked and frustrated and full of cortisols. But if you have somebody who is living the life they want, they will show you how to do the exact same thing. And I want you to think about doing exactly that. To sit down and write out, what would it look like for you to have the perfect day of your life? What would you want to do? How would you want to live? What would you want to do for work? How would you want to contribute to the world? You know you don't want to be retired, so don't write a perfect day where you're not doing anything. But what would like the ideal work scenario be for you? What would the ideal day be for you? What would the ideal contribution be? I've done this several times now. I did it a couple years ago. I watched a video by Frank Kern. If you do a search on YouTube for Frank Kern Perfect Day, there's a video there that it's about 2 hours. The first hour is him going through how to write out your perfect day. And the summary is you sit down and give as much detail as you can to exactly the day you want to live. And I have my clients do this. You know, I've done it several times now, and I did it a few years ago, and it took about 1.5 years, and I got to the perfect day. Then I did it again, and it took about 9 months, and I got to the perfect day, and I redid it recently again, and each time I've reached up to a bigger perfect day, to a more perfect day, to a more exciting day, to something that would be even better for me. And each time that I've gotten there, it's opened for me this new possibility of what could it really be like? How exciting can my day really be? How much can I really contribute? How much time can I spend with my family? How connected can I feel with my kids, with my wife, with my clients, with my team? And it just keeps getting better. Don't let anyone to convince you to trade today for tomorrow. Don't let anyone convince you that you have to live a life of sacrifice to be successful. And don't let anyone convince you, especially once you build a team, that you have to be the one doing everything and making everything happen and moving everything forward. Because if you are, you're actually holding yourself back. It takes forever to realize this as an entrepreneur, and it's not until you build a team around you that you finally see there are so many things you shouldn't be doing and very few things you actually should be doing. When you figure this out, everything changes. So take a minute and sit down. Write out your perfect day. Put as much detail into it as you can. Then put it in your binder that you carry around every day. Put it in your phone and read it when you're sitting in a doctor's office. Think about how you can get there. Set the intention that that's what you become and that's how your life becomes. It worked for me, and I think it'll work for you. You don't have to give up today for tomorrow. You don't have to trade the life you want for the life you might have someday. You can actually build the life you want right now, make the massive contribution you want to, and go out and change the world. If you're ready to live your perfect day every day and you want strategies that will help you radically improve how you feel on a daily basis, go to momentummasterclass.com. Let us show you the system we've built that helps visionary entrepreneurs improve their relationship with their self, their relationship with the people around them, and their relationship with their business in ways you never thought possible. Let me give you more clarity about what you're doing than you ever thought you could have.